Welcome to This Week in Jump, number 11. I'm Ryan,
I'm Turo.
and this week we're going to be going over my list, starting with number 18, Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, chapter 156.
Alrighty.
With this chapter, we see Kogarashi be confused as to why he's in the inn, because prior to that he was sleeping under a bridge, and he just thinks that he was scooped up and taken there. He's a little bit confused as to why he's there.
Yes, and everyone else is also kind of confused why they are there as well, but they seem to be more accepting of the fact that they are actually older than what they are now, because they go through, Chisaki goes through her own phone
And sees the pictures.
and sees pictures. She's able to know her own password because she hasn't changed her password since she was a child for some reason.
Well, preteen. I mean, I have some passwords that I still use that are more than 10 years old.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not unheard of. It's not a foreign concept.
Understood.
So they get on some wild hijinks, some awkwardness when they find out that they're being attacked. Of course, they're being attacked by none other than the Yonazaka Shakuhito from the previous arc, from the other previous arc aforementioned. And this time he's trying to take them out while they're weak and childlike.
Yeah. And
or so weak.
he is a Oni in this one, correct?
Yeah, he's an Oni. Onis are just ogres, aren't they?
Essentially, yes. They
Japanese
usually
ogres.
have a single horn coming out of their head and are known for their ferocious strength.
And they get stronger with alcohol.
Yeah.
That's always the trope. So, Kogarashi rushes in to save Sagiri from being manhandled by him. Because he's been possessed by a spiritual fighter before. So he already has some of that power.
Yeah.
Not, of course, equal to where he is now, or where he's, like, when he's an adult.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been possessed by several people
Yes.
up to this point in his life, but I'm sure not all the ones that have taught him all of his fighting skills.
No.
But it's lucky that he has this one right now.
Yeah, so he was basically going to get decked, but he gets saved by Nanko, who comes out of nowhere because even though it made it seem like he was really actually doing some damage to him, he basically like tickled him.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like Nanko with short hair, and of course she wasn't as strong whenever she was older, so of course he's able to blow off her armor rather easily. Power up with booze.
Yeah, so the booze turns into
More armor.
more body armor. Like, well, at least she's more covered up now, but still not leaving a lot to the imagination.
But it turns out that he was actually there to try and fend off the Tenko, because he's been monitoring the Yuragi Inn this entire time. Because I guess he wants to be the one to take them out, and he's not going to let anybody else take them out.
It's a pride thing. You want to be known as the one who took them down.
Yes. Going back to the Tenko, who's now appearing there, he actually has already caught Yuna, and Yuna's already basically entangled in his trap.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets pierced.
Yeah, blood jettisons from his mouth, from the giant hole in his
Shakuhito
chest.
pierces him. And then he begins to blast him. But, turns out, the hole, I guess, was healed immediately, or he didn't really do it.
From how I read it, it looked that pretty boy and the pretty attire that he has was the armor.
Yeah. Well, it's the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a comment like he doesn't want to be flashy like everybody else who has like this very stylistic armor.
Mm-hmm.
So
he just has a
he just
boy's
has that.
uniform.
Yeah. So something is happening with Yuna. I'm not entirely sure why her armor is like deteriorating.
And why does she have fox ears?
From before. That's because of her. God, what is that ability? It's because of her lineage.
And they have that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's from like the previous arc where she finds out that she is the
Reincarnation or...
Yes.
Okay.
The artificial being that was created to host the abilities
of a divine being.
Basically, it's like it's one of the three family type things.
Okay. So
It's
that
one of the-
last part I
it's
forgot
one of the-
about.
Yeah,
I have been gone for quite some time. Stuff gets lost.
Yeah, but that's where the fox ears come from, or the long ears come from. It's from that.
Okay.
It's not just some random thing they threw in there. It's already canon. It's been canon for like I want to say almost 40, 50 chapters. It was a whole arc about that where they went to like that spiritual realm and stuff like that.
Okay.
I honestly forgot what the arc is called, and I forgot what the bad guy was, but I do know that it happened.
Okay.
That's about all you need to know.
What's next?
Next is number 17, Yui Camillo Lets Loose. Chapter 7. Yui and a bunch of kids from the same class are going around and cleaning the swimming pool.
Kito's just
Watching.
from afar. I guess it's not a class that they share themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, normal stuff that happens when you're cleaning. Accidents happen and water gets spilled all over, people, including Ebby, who just got back from being sick, so she's covered in water again.
What?
Yeah. So
And then, of course, Yui gets splashed with water.
yeah, and
They point out that sailor suits are rather transparent.
yes.
And that leads now to get a nosebleed akin to an old man or teenage boy. And then she has to go to the nurse's office.
Yeah.
And she's out of commission, so she has Kito do his duty of making sure that Yui is having her hair tied up, keeping the chain on. Again, I have a feeling this is going to be a reoccurring thing where they're just going to find an excuse for her not to be there and put Yui and Kito into that type of like dynamic.
I really don't think Ebby is her friend, obviously.
Yes.
She cares for her and she wants her to be in the white form as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But she is easily prone to sickness, to accidents. I believe the reason Black Yui has such a reputation is because Ebby, every couple of days, gets into an accident, gets sick, and has zero control. So these rumors and these legends start coming up of the Black Yui. And in this case,
lo and behold,
yeah.
I guess her hair chain fell out, and now she's in Black Yui form.
Yeah.
But she's just wearing a parka, swimsuit, swim team parka.
Yeah, and
Doesn't look like she's wearing
leggings,
anything else.
That's it.
And they don't even go up all the way, so they're just like thigh-high leggings.
Yeah.
That's about it. Of course.
Kito is just
Flustered.
flustered. He's not able to get in much word in edgewise to Black Yui.
She teases the crap out of him.
Oh yeah. And as soon as he gets a friend or classmate nearby, says, "Don't look," and takes away. That's when he's able to talk to someone who's not Black Yui, take away his glasses, and he's still not really able to see anything or say anything to
And he
Black
starts
Yui.
getting closer to her, and then she's like, "Oh, you're kind of creeping me out."
Yeah.
But he just wants to get the chain on her, put her back to her normal self.
Yeah. Well, Black Yui is just like, you're acting a little bit creepy. I'm just gonna get away. Get away from me. Not in a I hate you kind of way. More of a you're being a little weird. I'm just gonna keep my distance for right now.
So, of course, Kito has to look all over the school to try and find them. Leads them to the computer room, goes in there, and asks them if they've seen her, and they, of course, tell him, "No, we haven't. She's just under the desk." And apparently they're fans of Black Yui instead of White Yui.
Yeah.
And they refer to themselves as losers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who refers to themselves as losers?
Well, like, that's pretty sad. But
I can get it, but I'm just like, dude, how harsh are you on yourself?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a loser. Ooh.
yeah. But we also see that the school is actually divided on who is
Better.
better and who's
More
essentially
attractive.
prettier and more attractive, popular between Black Yui and White Yui. And
But
because
Black Yui is losing.
yes, she's the losers
Popularity.
favor her, so she gets mad.
And beats the crap out of them.
Yeah, and the windows and everything else in there.
And of course, the ruckus and commotion causes Kito to go back and figure out that that's where she was. And she winds up somehow in the basketball court
Yeah,
playing. But to distract everybody, throws money.
Yeah, because
Screw the rules, I have money.
if she's running around and she's really doesn't have anything underneath, then
At any time.
any real movement can reveal something that should not be revealed, and leave her so embarrassed that if White Yui came back, she might just
Die
die
of embarrassment. So he eventually corners her, but of course she's wearing underwear and she
Yeah.
reveals it, and it's just like he's like,
He does not know what to do. A girl just flashed him.
Then she puts her hair back and is just like, all right, I'll hold it for you. He's just about to do it. Grabs some, I guess what he assumed was the hair, and then he's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's soft.
Yeah. What could it possibly be?
It could be anything. Oh, it's a sea cucumber.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Then Black Yui
He
trips.
has He had a Black Yui trap. How many of these did he have around the school?
He says he has them set up all over the school. This is a rich school.
How does nobody else trip on these things?
I bet they do. And I think we're gonna see those later on.
So she falls over and is in a very compromising pose, and his grin is very creepy because it's like a full teeth smile. It's just unnerving. So of course he ties her hair like that, but she turns back into White Yui and she's in the same pose that she fell in previously as Black Yui. Actually, her leg is a little bit raised. That's the only difference that I can.
Are you
notice.
seeing a pattern with some of the different series? They're doing the exact same paneling on
Oh yeah,
several different pages.
they just tweak it just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and it still conveys a good.
It's
good
good for
scene.
comedic value, and it also is good for showing literal parallels. So
Especially
I
between
yes.
Black Yui and White Yui. Also, their panties change colors as well.
I'm surprised that her leggings didn't go back to being white, but I guess you wouldn't be able to see them.
Also, they already have black and white in them.
Yeah, so why didn't that swap? Just a minor note, and then the parka didn't change.
Yeah, the parka
but I guess
didn't
because the parka, she wasn't
It's
wearing it.
It's a school. Maybe it's not hers. She's just borrowing it
Well,
from someone.
I was thinking just because she was wearing it after she had turned into Black Yui.
Ah, okay.
So maybe the leggings the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we're still learning about these.
Anyway, so
Color
all of them
change.
paint color change. What are they like? Those old the Hot Wheels where you get them in water and they change color.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so every they both faint, and now all three of them are in the nurse's office.
Yes.
To be continued.
Ebby and Kito from loss of blood, and then
Yui from embarrassment.
Yui from embarrassment. Just passes out.
This girl gets
Great.
embarrassed so easily.
It's great.
Next on the list, I have been putting this one rather high recently. Just this week I put it lower. Neolation,
Okay.
Chapter 18. So we're introduced to a self-proclaimed loser tuber. What is with the loser stuff?
I don't know. People get some confidence. It's like you're funny.
So
Don't call yourself a loser.
she was trying to perform with a dance group, street dance, and that gives context to what you saw, where she was like trying to follow along, and then she just like is on her head when everybody is like jumping. And apparently she's been making these videos for quite some time. Like she just records every little thing that she thinks is interesting. Even like we see later that she does it when she's walking.
Yeah.
And she actually gets confidence an affirmation by the people that support her and give her like positive comments. She basically focuses on just the positives of her online persona.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that with like today with like a lot of kids. They do it for the likes, they do it for the lulz.
Mm-hmm. They do it for the follows, for the verification,
the validation of their person.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, subscribe and like, comment, and validate our egos.
And just, listen to us every now and again.
Been reading manga for a long time. And watching a lot of anime for a long time. So, we have a pretty good base on that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Yeah. So, like I stated earlier, she's walking and recording. She sees a shrine. She decides to walk up the stairs, go to the top of the shrine. But there's apparently a little dealing that's going on at the shrine. I don't know why you would do that in public instead of, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But you have a CEO of a video company, and you have a mayor who's trying to get into parliament. The mayor is trying to have his the other candidate who's running for parliament. Yeah, basically by having him look like he was having an affair, or I guess he was having an affair. I don't know. They said that they would doctor the video and make sure, basically pump out fake news, because that's literally the title of this chapter.
Yeah.
It translates as fake news. Really relevant topic, because there's a lot of that out there, or people just report things before they do any in-depth research.
Yeah.
And that is very dangerous.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention our loser tuber's name. Her name is Chinami.
Chinami.
So she's recording all of this going on, and just when she's about to leave, of course she steps on a branch.
Of course. It wouldn't be shonen without some tropes.
So she gets found out by the president of the video company.
And
Yuko comes to Neo and says that she has a friend who's gone missing. Neo's comment is great.
Yes.
I loved that. Your friends go missing an awful lot.
Yeah, that's really sad. But it could also be, testament to, yeah, there's a lot of crime in this city. Maybe someone should do something about it.
Maybe. I mean, where's Batman when you need him?
Yeah.
And she shows the picture of Chinami where she has her pinkies in her nose.
And stretching out her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize this person.
I'm a big fan of hers. She does my challenges that I suggest to her. One where she was literally a die rolled down the stairs, and then whatever she landed on, she had to go and ask people a question corresponding to that number. I have many more challenges. I will help. I will save her.
Yeah.
Neo's motivated by hot dogs, and
hot dogs, hot rods.
So they begin researching and trying to find the last time that they saw her. They know the path that she went on.
And this is, just going based off of face value from someone telling him that, oh, someone's missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, let me look into this. Instead of, oh, they're probably out somewhere or vacation, they didn't tell you. No, he 100% believes her right away. And doesn't know if any criminal activity is there. It's just, let me see if I can help you find your friend.
Good faith.
Yeah. Which is a change for Neo.
I think it's because he now sees them as friends. He wants to help his friends.
Yeah.
He wants to help a friend of a friend. Who's a friend of a friend of a friend. Getting off topic. So, he finds the last recorded cameras that basically follow the street, and then he notices that there's a gap. And it just happens to coincide. There's a shrine there. So they conclude that she probably didn't cross the street, that she in fact disappeared sometime between camera A and camera B. And the shrine is between camera A and camera B. But they never see her leave there, in either of them. So they come to the conclusion that perhaps she was taken in a car. Mm-hmm. But to get transported in the car and not be seen, they had to basically put her in a big suitcase or in some type of container. Which leads to another problem. How do you find which car it was? And then, there's a lot of little problem solving that they do in this, and it's actually something that from a logistic standpoint, sounds like could be applied in real world detective work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You rule out all possible outcomes until a couple are remaining, and you go from there.
One truth prevails.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Detective Conan reference. So, the CEO is going to call a finisher, basically to kill her, because now they just have her tied up and with a duct tape over her mouth. And Neo, then working on the concept that she probably was in a car, then determines that it was probably a vehicle that was stopped a little bit longer between its appearance on A and then its appearance on B. And there was only apparently one car that did that.
Yeah.
Because there was like 20 other ones that went by.
Yeah. Which is also surprising and also
Well, how many people are just
plausible.
gonna like stop in front of like
It's a crosswalk. They could be stopping for other people crossing the street.
for an extended period of time?
Yeah, it could be, a lot of people coming out of the shrine down the street.
But
Could
you would-
happen, but this was late at night.
Yeah.
That's what ruled out all those
Yes.
other things. And I think that's what they ended up concluding.
Yeah, and he ends up finding that it's one company in particular that owned the vehicle that they saw.
They used the company vehicle for this.
Yeah, smart move. The video company's Son Goku. But, of course, he can't do all the physical work by himself. So, we have Yuko and Daigo go in and be the muscle. Well, Daigo's the muscle, Yuko's the runner / muscle
Scout.
if necessary. Yeah, scout. She's about to get stopped by a guy. Neo, using his hacking wizardry, blows up his phone.
In his pocket, and with good reason, tries to put out that fire himself because he's on fire rather than stopping her.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
You have to have him.
So, he comments that starting today we're going to be basically the perfect team. And it's because you have brains, brawn, and agility.
Yeah.
Right? So he makes the comment that we're going to drive the bad guys out of this town together.
He has
Alluding
a
to what you said
team.
earlier.
Yeah, this is where he's actually, trusting in them 100%. This is a new team. This is quite literally a new start.
They've only
for
had
the
like one other.
series.
Yeah, they've only had one other like real mission. Because in the previous arc, mini arc, Yuko and Daigo didn't really have a whole lot to do because Brother Ta handled most of the legwork of that.
Yeah, when Yuko's friend was missing.
That was
Neo-
when that was more Yuko doing anything than Daigo.
Yeah, but also in that case, it was Neo essentially did most of that as well.
Mhm.
Yuko a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but not as a real team.
Not as no.
I really think the end of this chapter is this series heading into a completely new realm. Similar to Naruto when they got Squad 7 all set up and they had all the separate squads going out doing their own thing. I think this is going to be
Well, at
their
the start of the tuning exams.
Yeah, where we saw a lot of growth in those exams over a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I'm really hopeful for Annihilation now.
Yeah, I just had to put it that low just because.
Other stuff.
Other stuff, and I was like, well, what really did I get new out of this, other than I already knew he wants to do this, and I'm pretty sure the next chapter will be better.
This is similar to
This is setup.
This is similar to chapter 1 of Annihilation, where
Yeah.
someone gets kidnapped, they figure out who it is pretty quickly, or they at least know location-wise very quickly where this is going on.
Number 14, Hellwarden Haguma, chapter 17.
Ah,
You put that one a lot higher, didn't you?
I did. I put it very high.
And I'm pretty sure did you put it very high because of the last panel?
Yes, also because I was right again.
Oh,
When it gets to it, I'll let you know.
okay.
But
So Haguma, even as a kid, rather than backing down or running away, he actually went after Akagane. But
having no real power of his
Yeah.
own.
But Akagane told him that he's letting him go, and that he gave him the same rules that he's given every other Hell Warden the within Haguma's line and lineage. So basically, you have to have a 10-year-old kid.
That's when I'll come.
And that's
for
when
you.
I'll come for you. After this interaction, he goes to King Enma, and he cries to him, says that he was basically foolish to think that everybody could be at peace and everybody could get along. And Enma tells him that it's your ideology isn't completely foolish. If people weren't people, then yes, everybody would get along. But at the same time, he was able to get resolve out of this.
If everyone was as kind and
Yes.
had the same ideology as Higuma right now, they would not be human.
Yeah. But with this, he learns that he must treat this as a job and basically remove his emotions from this.
But it also looks as though the god entity, part of it, the testament to the resolve of humans wanting peace, that's what created a manifestation that is known as Lord Enma.
Yeah.
The divine being is the entire space, but the testament, the form manifested of the determination of humans for peace and justice is Enma. They're not separate beings. It's just an extension.
Yeah, literally like the face.
Yeah.
So, cuts it off, and apparently that was the same arm that had already been cut off, and we cut back to the main fight. Sorry,
Yes.
forgot to mention that. Cutting back to the main fight, the arm that he'd cut off was, in fact, the arm that had already been cut off, and he basically uses it as a mine. It blows up, then it actually stabs into Higuma, but he's not finished.
Yeah. Higuma has already, nullified most of his feelings, most of his pain receptors in most cases, and he's still fighting. He knew something was going to be up, so he already had a follow-up attack coming.
He's launched his arm that was cut off with the large sword. I forgot the name of the sword, but I know that it's the Zaijui, the long, large blade that we see from like one of the earliest chapters.
Yes, when he fought the Tengu, I believe.
Mhm.
That's when we first saw that one.
So, and manages to stab Akagane, but he does not sever the other arm.
A big gash that would
It's a very mortal
deter
wound for the
more
arm,
people, yeah.
but he's molten, so he's able to recover from that injury rather easily by sealing it off. I'll finish you off without mercy. And then, unexpectedly, Engetsu intervenes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that he would. I thought that he would kind of just let Akagane die. But then he has another fugitive spirit. The new one, Uen
Kaseki?
who uses like... She looks like a ninja.
And she looks to be using, like, will-o-wisps
Yeah.
out.
Kind of like... But they're like bombs.
Yeah.
And they just blow up everything, and Akagane uses that as cover to leave. That says that he'll be returning.
Yeah, so this is very much to help Higuma.
Yeah.
Like, so Engetsu still has some desire to work with or manipulate Higuma or, the Hell Wardens,
Mm-hmm.
which could still go into his old plan of using a Hell Warden to reach the realm of Lord Enma
And destroy it.
and destroy it from, the inside.
Says that I'll be sending you to hell.
Yeah, and
And-
he has made his own new
Vow.
vow.
And then Haguma's told not to go after him. You're basically already exhausted.
Yeah, and I was right. He got some help, and
But they're...
not from who I was expecting. He got help from and Getsu and his allies. But we do see
Two
like
new characters.
two new characters that are brother and sister, because they refer to them as that.
Yes.
But this, you might be right that these are, other Hell Wardens. These could be cousins. These could be second cousins. We don't even know if these could be Higuma's like half siblings or something like that.
They leave that open.
Yeah, but their Zaiju is a creature with a mouth and a tongue. Which looks really creepy. I tried figuring out what it was, but no, it's literally just that.
Yeah. There might be more detail, like, in the following chapter that, like, shows what it is, if it has more than just that, or maybe they just get specific pieces for their Zaiju. Or
But it's really interesting.
Zajui. I want to say Zaiju because it sounds better, but Zajui is correct. It's like how people say Saiyan. I think the Japanese was supposed to be Saiyan. But when it got Romanized and brought over to the West, everybody just said Saiyan.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Just call it Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah. I like blue.
Alright, number 13, Food Wars. Chapter 308. Is that about where you had yours, or did you have it much
I had it a little bit
higher? Is it because we actually see...
We had a couple of things happen here that made me more interested in it. We get to see, the judges.
Yeah.
We've seen them before at a...
They were the ones that were helping out Irina's father when they were doing the testing on that mountain during like the winter time. So they were basically pretty biased.
Yeah.
Or they were paid to be biased, or so they seem. But they already have an affinity towards Saiba.
Yeah, they
start comment on that he's attractive. Kind of lead with that.
Yeah, it's like you're already getting rid of your bias between these two contestants and are leaning one way more than the others. But they have to see, the actual food. So one of the judges just gets near the dish and can just smell it through the container.
Yes, the Clouch. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. Clouch. I think it's probably French.
Yeah, but.
And in that regard, Saiba's already technically won that battle of aromas. Either that or Yukihira put it down so hard that it blocked out the aroma. I don't know. So they lean towards it. She lifts it.
And she can't wait any longer to actually see and smell more of it.
And it's a dish that has a pie crust.
Yeah. It looks really pretty.
It looks perfect.
They put a lot of emphasis to showcase that this dish means a lot.
It looks really good. And they break it. And it has lots of different things in it. And they break it, and there's lots of different pieces in there, lots of different foodstuffs. There's shark fin. But they also notice that it also has like ravioli in it. But inside the ravioli, it isn't like a meat. It's Turkish ice cream.
Which they make it look like it's a very stringy kind of cheese.
It's a very chewy ice cream, is what I've been told. And it's Dundumbar. That's what it's actually called inside the ravioli. But if you mix it with everything he has in there mixes incredibly well with the crust. So he emphasizes, hey, you should probably try them both together. I also forgot to mention that this is apparently a style of cooking that originated on the one island that was allowed to do trade with the West.
In Japan.
Yes. Nagasaki.
Nice.
Dejima is the island. Dejima and Nagasaki. So it's island in Nagasaki that was allowed to do trade. So that's where that type of cooking originated from. But the judges comment that it's very, like, if you had brought 5 chefs together, they would have a hard time coordinating.
Yeah, just language barriers. They have a specific word for one thing where it's not very familiar in others.
Different cooking styles clashing.
For over in the West, if you go to a steak restaurant and you say you want the steak to have a lot of umami in it, most people aren't going to know what that means.
No. No.
Like, some things are very...
And that they offer the bookmaster to taste it as well.
Oh, yes. That's
a critical part.
That's the huge part for me why I placed this much higher. Was they offered it to the bookmaster and she accepted it.
Yes. So, I'm sorry to cut you off your previous point. What were you going to say?
No, I forgot. I pretty much said what I needed to say.
And then we have the traditional fan servicey, I would say almost like transformation, just costume change for the girls. But of course the guy gets to be the jellyfish.
And this is akin to very early RPGs where enemies would eventually, after beating them,
they'd want to be your friend.
They want to be your friend, they want to be your ally. You can accept or reject them.
You could say it's kind of like Pokemon, except you gotta catch them.
Yeah.
So there's a loud popping noise, and it's everybody suddenly has their clothes removed.
Yeah.
And
apparently this is what the bookmaster's ability is. I'm not quite sure.
They call it a gifting. The same thing happened with Irina's grandfather, where if he tasted something, other people would be stripped along with them. Like, I think that's just like something through the Nakiri line. So I guess hers is just an extreme case of it. And since she has been just eating everything that is just IVs instead of like actual meals, it probably was built up. So when it popped, it was everybody in the stadium having the same effect of being stripped.
And a great shot of Saiba just showcasing this is the pinnacle of cooking. This is what it means to really be the best. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. And even one of the judges said, you're making the impossible possible, which has been a running theme in this tournament. Yukihara just looks like he's looking at a challenge.
He looks determined.
Yes.
That's probably the best way I can put it.
If he was so sure of himself, you would see his goofy face, like,
he'd be grinning.
Oh yeah, like, I have you beat no matter what. But no, this is, I need to make sure my presentation of this is as perfect as it can be, or else I have lost. In which case, in most cases, he would be okay with losing, because he learns something new from losing every time.
There's a little bit more pressure on him to win, though.
Yeah, he does. He wants to win this tournament. He wants to beat him, and he wants to fight Irina. Like, he really...
And prevent her from being married.
Yeah, because, you want your friends to make their own decisions.
Yeah, not be forced to marry somebody they don't really want to.
Yeah. But it's a good chapter. It's a good chapter.
It's a lot better than a lot of them have been for Food Wars.
They focus more on the food, and I put it much higher on my list than you did this time because of such.
Alright, and that will wrap up part 1. We'll be continuing in part 2 very soon.